Hi everyone, Little Yellow Yarn here with Deborah Lee. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I just want to show you guys, this is my pile of yarn and I'm going to show you guys how to roll this into a quick yarn ball. So you can see Little Yellow Yarn over here, he's in a nice little ball. You're going to make something very similar, but with respect to how much yarn you have left, it doesn't matter if you have a little bit or if you have a lot or a ton more. I know Karen sells those 1 pounders. You're gonna do it the same fashion. So let's get started. I found my tail. Thank goodness. If you can't find the tail of your yarn, you can always look on the sides here. On the inside, Red Heart usually is really friendly about that, and Karen is too. Not too sure about other brands. Those are the ones I use the most. Or you can look in the center part. Either way, you can pull that tail on out. I will say that if it's coming out of the side, it's a lot easier versus the center, simply because the center here on the physical yarn is just going to cause it to get tossed around. So if you're worried about it getting dirty, just simply put this inside a gallon-sized zip bag and you should be good to go. Just zip it up almost all the way and leave obviously room for the tail or the yarn to come out of. So here we go. Least dominant hand, you're going to face your palm towards you, grab, as my kids would say, mommy finger and brother finger, or your index finger and your middle finger, and you're going to get that tail of the yarn, and you're going to gently, and I mean gently, you don't want sausage fingers and, make the blood stop flowing to your fingertips. Gently wrap it around your fingertips a few times. I would say about 5 is good. You just want to get a starting point. And from there you see that I went from it being vertical up and down on my fingertips, and I slipped it off and I squished it horizontally, which is from left to right. And what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to start wrapping my yarn around the middle of it. Alright, just keep wrapping it. And it's going to be a process. It might give you maybe a slight headache if the yarn is misbehaving, but take a break. You'll be happy that you did this in the end, because trust me, it's not fun to work with a skein of yarn that looks like this. Oh my goodness, I've been there, done that, not nice. So you just keep winding until you have a nice ball that has developed. Now at this point, I wind from the top up above and bring it back under towards me. Others might wind the opposite direction, and it doesn't matter. But since I'm doing it in this direction, I'm going to wind to the top, and I'm going to turn my ball. And while I'm turning, I'm bringing my yarn down at an angle, so if you will, from top left to bottom right, if it had corners. And I'm going to start going on this ball at an angle. Okay, so I'm going to move my fingertips from the side, from horizontal to now top to bottom. I'm going to squish it, give it a good squeeze. So I did 1 horizontal loop, and now I'm just going to simply go vertically on top. And you'll get your own little pattern once you start to do this. This is just how I start mine. Wrap it a few times, you can see it starting to pudge out. Once excuse me, tongue-tied. Once it starts to pudge out, turn it again. And you're going to, again, kind of guide that yarn strand. And now you're going to go in the center. Alright, and just go a few times. And then you're going to twist it. Again, be careful because these loops tend to want to fall off if you've done them a little loose. You could always go back and undo and tighten it up a little bit. You don't want it to be super tight. You don't want this creepy, tight, wound up yarn ball. If you do them beautifully, oh my gosh, that's awesome. But for me, I like to have mine kind of poofy and loose, just for the sake of whenever I start to work on a project, I can just pull it right on out and it doesn't give me any resistance. So I'm going to go from, what is this, vertically. I'm going to turn it now horizontally. And I'm just going to repeat the process and go right down the middle. And you can make it look real cutesy and make X's. You can see an X starting to form. That's totally up to you, but I just keep turning it. I make a little pudge vertically, and then I turn it horizontally, and then I keep putting the yarn on that center point, make it pudgy, fill it out, right, and then turn my ball again, and then keep going. And that's all you do. So you're just winding up your ball. Yes, you can go out and buy yourself a nice winder, but me personally, I'm not gonna go out and buy one. It's been what? Oh my gosh, 9 years of me crocheting and I have yet to buy one. So I typically, honestly, will just finish my skeins. But this one got out of hand. I'm like, oh boy, that pink, that hot pink is driving me crazy. So I just decided I'd come on and make a quick video and show you guys how to wind up a yarn ball. And it's very simple. Vertical, horizontal, vertical, up and down, horizontal, right? So mine's vertical, it's getting kind of pudgy. Turn it horizontally. And I just stay in the middle. I don't do anything fancy until finally at the end when the ball really starts to get bigger and I see, excuse me, some spots that look, how do I say it, like shallow. They don't have enough yarn and it's not uniform. I'll show you what I mean. You can see here that there's some space in between there, so I will just start wrapping yarn around it just to make it even. And at this point, you can choose to continue going vertical to horizontal, or just follow, see how it's tangling up, but just follow the yarn ball around. And I'll show you here in a second once I get this guy undone. How many of you guys have become experts at undoing knots? I know I have. Alright, so I'm just going to keep following and working from left to right all the way around as best as I can. You can see that this part of the ball has my horizontal lines, so I'm going to try to cover all those up. You can see I just start turning my yarn ball ever so slightly, like the earth going on its axis. And you can see how it starts to make this pretty little twist. Really, it's up to you how you want to wind it again. So many different ways you can do it. And you can tell that this particular skein, I started to unwind it from the center here. So it's just kind of jumping everywhere like a fish out of water. So bear with me. Now I'm going to go ahead and just finish up this ball while you guys are watching. I'm going to go really quick. I might even speed up the video. But there's quite a bit left there. You can see it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And in the end, what I like to do with my tails is just kind of tuck it underneath a thick part and leave it poking out, just so it doesn't come undone on me. Or if you have a nice bag that'll hold your yarn balls, go ahead and stick it in there. Shoot, even zip bags work very nicely. They're inexpensive and you can see what's in them, right? You can even label it if you guys like to stay super organized and know what kind of yarn you use. Go ahead and put the brand and put the weight of the yarn and the color, of course, don't forget. Especially if it is, this guy's gonna, yeah, but you see, you can just kind of shake him and his hair falls down. You can even, what was I talking about? Okay, labeling, but especially if your yarn has a dye lot. Remember, with dye lots, that's a whole different video, but you want to make sure that you get enough of that yarn at the moment that you're there at the store for your project, because that dye lot may not be the same shade exactly the next time you go to buy it. So we'll talk about that in a different video. But just little tips and tricks here, guys. You can see my little yarn ball is getting bigger, and I'm just going with the flow here, right on top of where I was before, and I just keep going around and around. I no longer have to go horizontal to vertical or vertical to horizontal. I can just keep wrapping it. It's just at the beginning when it's a little fiddly and a little stubborn sometimes, especially if you're dealing with a lighter weight yarn. This is a worsted weight, so it's not so crazy. But like your DK yarn, that is a weight of 3, that's double knitting. That one might give you issues, or especially if you're dealing with thread. Any of you guys use a lot of thread when you're crochet? Go ahead and drop some comments below. I'd like to hear what kind of yarn or thread you guys prefer using with your crochet work. I personally tend to stick to a worsted weight or even a DK. I've been wanting to try to make some more garments for myself and my kiddos. I've made a few, but if you guys have made garments before, you know that it can be a little bit of a challenge with gauge. And I think that's kind of something I need to definitely work on. So you see there's this crazy like wound up part, and I found, look at this, I have found the end. If you find the end of your yarn, hold on to that bad boy. Do something special with it. Maybe if you have a paper towel roll or something, punch some holes in it and maybe you can attach it to that, or maybe a piece of tape on it, something. But excuse me, it'll help to unknot your yarn if it just goes south on you. Trust me, I'm like yarn expert. I'm growing out my nails. I'm like, I need my nails to look good for my video. Because yes, I confess I am a nail biter. So this has been a challenge for me, needless to say. But my point is, even without my nails, I was able to untangle yarn. You can see there that we've got just a little bit more to go. So bear with me, guys. I appreciate y'all hanging in there. And yes, I know it's just a video on how to wind up yarn, but you'd be surprised how many people say, hey, I don't know how to wind up that ball. How do you do it? And just thought I'd help you guys out, because it's something very practical that you can do, and there's no need to go out and spend tons of money on a winder. So there you have it. You have wound up your yarn. Alright guys, so I'm going to tuck this guy under. I'm going to grab, or you can even use your crochet hook, and you can go underneath the thick part of that ball and just grab. You can see how I grabbed it and then I brought it up just to hold on to it. Grab it and just slip it under. And there you go. He's set in place. Alright y'all, if I helped you out with your yarn balls, if you guys really like this video, go ahead and give me a huge thumbs up. Go ahead and click that subscribe button, and don't forget about clicking the notification bell, because that's going to let you know when I upload my next crafting videos. So you guys have a wonderful, blessed day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.